These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
Hey there, I'm Social Injustice Warrior Infuso, and welcome back to the series in which I go through each of the Kingdom Hearts games and attempt my best to explain them, which will only grow increasingly harder with my decreasing intelligence and the series' increasing complexities. Increasingly unneeded complexities. Now, as you may remember, we last covered Chain of Memories. Or, well, most of it. Because there's still more to uncover in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. After completing the game, you're granted the ability to play as Riku. The whole reason I bought this game in the first place as a kid, hell, the whole reason I was bought the Game Boy Advance in general. And also, I never got to this. I never even came close to getting up to this part of the game. I got up to the part where Sora goes to Traverse Town, which is the first world, and then I gave up. And I said, fuck it, I didn't get this game to play cards. Which is part of the reason why I made this series and forced myself to get through all of these games. So with that being said, let's just head into this mindfuck together. As the last game ended with Sora taking a nap, this game opens up with Riku waking up from one.
Where am I?
I don't know!
Here, between light and dark, you should remain asleep. Shut your eyes.
Yes, thank you. I'll take the worst things to wake up to for 200, Alex.
Answer. Daily double.
The king! Where's the king?
And don't forget Billy Zane. Where's he at? We want answers, Disney. Riku chats with the bodiless voice for a bit before receiving a card and being brought to Castle Oblivion.
Huh?
Also, I don't want to put too much emphasis on this scene, but it's really strange hearing the word demon be used in a Kingdom Hearts game.
As if I'm some kind of demon.
It just kind of feels really out of place. I don't know if I'm the only person who feels that way, so I'll just shut up.
This seemed like a boring place to take a nap anyway.
That was very well said, Riku.
Approaching the doors using the card he's been given, Riku is summoned to Home Sweet Hell, Hollow Bastion. After Riku does his best impression of Wade Wilson by briefly arguing with the narrative text, he makes his way around the castle and through the Heartless by the dozens. Using his sword that kinda looks like he ripped out Cloud's one wing and stuck it on the wooden toy from Destiny Islands, he demolishes these things. You fight through the Horde of Heartless before making your way to Riku's room. A room we're just seeing for the first time, and it doesn't really have any effect on anything, so no point in it, I guess. Riku leaves making his way through a bunch of Heartless once again, and a bunch of different rooms, only to find that the castle for the most part is pretty empty. The voice taunts Riku, claiming the castle reflects his own heart. But Riku proves him wrong by entering a room to find Memory Maleficent, who, unlike the people from Sora's memories, apparently seems to have a lot more self-awareness. Maleficent, much like the voice, mocks Riku before deciding to take things to physical abuse. Turning into her dragon form, Riku is given his first major challenge in the game. After battling your former mentor and becoming a bona fide dragon slayer, you head back to the next floor in the castle to find...
Stop resisting. Accept the darkness. If you are to serve me again.
Hey, wait a second. You're not Billy Zane. Yes, that's right. Kingdom Hearts' big bad, Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness, is still very much the black cloud hanging over Riku's head. And much like the audience, Riku isn't surprised, noting that the voice's talks of darkness kinda was a dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
I thought it was you, Ansem.
Oh, you don't seem surprised.
I thought it was you, Ansem.
Oh, you don't seem surprised.
Ansem attempts to take Riku as his vessel yet again, but Riku fights back to no avail. Just then, a glimmer of light with the voice of a familiar friend makes an appearance.
Remember, Riku, you're not alone.
That's right. It's Tinkerbell.
You're wrong.
It's Mickey Mouse, Mike.
After getting a pep talk from Mickey Mouse, suddenly Riku feels ready to take on the world. Or, more accurately, Ansem. And whoa! Wait a minute. Excuse me? What was that? Who greenlit Rapey Ansem? I want to know. I want names. After a brief back and forth, all the fighting has made the Seeker of Darkness feel generous. He tosses Riku a card before Ansem releases darkness within him. Or something. I don't know. Something darkness. It's just... Don't think too much. You're gonna hurt yourself. Now in the game, this is somehow supposed to be a bad thing, I guess. But gameplay-wise, this dude just did you a huge favor. Darkness mode is similar to Sora's later anti-form, allowing you to deliver charged up attacks, and not to mention, it gives you major points in the style department. I mean, just check out that hula skirt. Alright, now that is a fashion statement. And the statement is, I have no sense of fashion. Elsewhere, we're treated to organization members we haven't seen in the main story. We got the organization's resident emo kid, Zexion, and the resident musclehead, Lexus. Zex and Lex are joined by our old friend Vexen. So Zex, Lex, and Vex speak of the downfall of the organization, as well as the castle's newest guests. And apparently the way this nonconformist blue-haired organization member figured this all out was because of their scent.
I picked up 2 scents in the castle's lowest basement.
What's that scent? It's so familiar. Darkness. It's the smell of darkness.
So darkness and light have smells now? Like they have distinct scents?
Something smells funny.
Much like that demon comment from before, this just... I don't know, it feels a little out of place in a Kingdom Hearts game. But you know what, okay, your game, not mine, your game, alright? You do you, Tetsuya.
Never mind that shit. Here comes
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey explains that he's only been able to send some of his power to this mysterious castle. He tells Riku that he needs to fight the darkness within himself, and that even if he smells like a dumpster fire, apparently, there's still a little bit of light within him.
The light of Kingdom Hearts. It will show you the way.
Oh,
Don't worry. We shook hands in our hearts, remember? Don't worry. We shook hands in our hearts, remember?
Now given 4 cards, you have the choice of choosing between Traverse Town, Agrabah, Monstro, and Neverland. So of course, I chose Traverse Town because, what can I say, I like the music. So Riku makes his way through Traverse Town, mowing down the Heartless he comes across until he finally finds himself going toe-to-toe with the guard armor.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I thought all these cards and worlds were made up of Riku's memories. At what point did Riku come across the guard armor? I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't have happened, it's just the first time that I'm hearing about it. You know what, I guess maybe it's possible, like, that when he was going there the first time that he had seen it, or some shit like that. You know, I'll give it a pass. I'm just going to move past it, I'm just going to move on, we're just going to continue with this. After beating the big bad of Traverse Town, Riku is given the world exit to the next floor. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Zexion is sniffing his fingers when he notices the scent of Riku, and oh my god, guys! This is a child's game! What is wrong with y'all? Zex, Lex, and Vex discuss Riku's certain aroma, and liken it to that of their superiors. And guys, seriously? Seriously, guys? Starting to go into a very uncomfortable fetish territory. This doesn't even work in context. I'm not taking it out of context. I don't even know that there is a context for it. We're told that Riku's presence is just as much of a shock to the Organization 13 members as it is to Riku himself. Meaning that unlike Sora, Riku isn't being lured to their lair. He's initially not a part of their grand scheme. But apparently even Sora's appearance in the castle is puzzling to some of those within the organization, as Vexen only now informs Zexion and Lexius that the Keyblade Master's on the castle grounds. He even lets slip Marluxia's Namine plan, but disavows from it entirely. Vexen instead claims that the real value is within Riku, showing us that Reverse/Rebirth takes place during the same time of events as the initial Chain of Memories story, with one half of the organization attempting to forcibly recruit Sora, and the other half of it after Riku. We head to Agrabah, where it's basically the same form of events. Travel from room to room, defeat the Heartless, and make your way to the final boss. It's important to remember that Riku doesn't have that much depth in his story at first. And that's because he didn't create lifelong bonds to the people of the Kingdom Hearts worlds the way that Sora had. he only forged a bond to darkness, a bond that he struggles with throughout this entire game. The final boss of Agrabah is Jafar Genie.
Wait a minute.
Wait a damn second here, guys. Well, wait a damn second here, okay? No. You're off, game. You're way off on this one. I distinctly recall in the first game, Riku abducting Jasmine off screen as you fought the Red Genie. How did he see him in order to remember him? Was he not on his way out of Agrabah during that boss battle? I mean, I guess I could maybe imagine that he abducted her during the fight, so maybe he was close enough to see Genie Jafar, as in, like, catch a quick glimpse of him. You know what? I guess I'm gonna try and let this one slide. But you're on thin ice, game. On thin ice. I mean, physically, actually, you're on a pit of lava, but metaphorically, thin ice. Riku leaves the world, then encounters Vexen on the next floor. And after a confusing conversation...
Are you with Ansem?
You are half correct. He is Ansem, and he is not Ansem.
Riddles were never my thing.
Which, let's be honest, is really what Kingdom Hearts is built off of. Confusing conversations. He decides to test your strength. And what better way of doing that than by trying to kick your ass? After finally managing to defeat the organization's top scientist, he leaves you in a way that doesn't make you feel victorious, but instead makes you feel entirely uneased. Thanks, jackass. I needed that win. My life ain't going so great, but no, you take it, that's fine. Head to the next floor world. For me, it was the Belly of the Beast, Monstro, where, you guessed it, you go room to room, fight the Heartless until you make your way to the final boss, the Parasite Cage. Which, unlike the previous bosses outside of Maleficent, this actually makes some sense. As Riku helps Sora defeat the Parasite Cage and save Pinocchio in the first Kingdom Hearts game. Elsewhere, Lex and Zex discuss their distrust in the rest of the organization, showing us the inner turmoil and dysfunction in the group. Scenes like this really shed light on the organization's self-destructive nature, as the distrust between its members continue to escalate. Head to Neverland, which is actually just Captain Hook's flying pirate ship, defeat Captain Hook, and then head to the world's exit to the next floor, and there it is that Riku finds a familiar face. His own. Apparently the test of strength Riku had with Vexen was all a ruse for the organization's hooded scientist to steal Riku's data. Which I'm guessing in this case means DNA, kind of like how heart means soul, you know, it's a whole thing, it's a mess. This is the Replica Riku, a character who is based on Riku, minus most of his character development. The Replica Riku, desperate to prove that he is an upgraded model, challenges Riku to a fight, and very quickly learns that nothing beats the originals. After the battle, they do what else but fight again, when Riku's replica makes this sound. Oh, and thanks, game. Yeah, no, it's okay. I didn't have to sleep tonight. Or any night for that matter. Replica Riku, or Riku Squared as I'll be calling him from now on, meets with the X's, in which he mocks his source material and shows interest in meeting Sora. Playing through the first Chain of Memories, I was kinda under the impression that the replica was under the impression that he was the real Riku, but no, okay, fine. You do your thing. But I guess not. Riku makes his way to the next floor where he's greeted by Ansem yet again, who shows up to further help explain the plot just in case you haven't been paying attention. He throws Riku his next set of cards before taking off again. Head to Wonderland, beat the Heartless, defeat the Trickmaster, and go to the next floor. And that's when we're treated to an extended scene of the scene in Chain of Memories, where Replica Riku is called Vexen's toy. And guys, stop it. The undertones are already overtones.
With a little help from Namine, you'll have all the real Riku's memories.
And oh, hey, I guess that explains it. Namine fills Replica Riku, Riku Squared's head up with altered versions of the real Riku's memories. So I guess I take back what I said. That does explain that. R Squared, clearly upset with being betrayed, attempts to attack his creator and its company, but he finds it all to be a losing battle. Then the fake Riku makes this ear-curdling sound.
No!
No, that's alright. I didn't need to hear for the rest of this review. Or any review after, for that matter. Head to Olympus Coliseum, beat the Heartless, fight Hades, and wouldn't you know it, you're met with another cutscene. Larxene, the Kingdom Hearts answer to Harley Quinn, taunts Namine. Replica Riku, now having gone through the procedure from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, returns to tell Namine he'll keep his promise to her, before flaunting the good luck charm she gave him. A promise he of course never made, and a good luck charm that was never actually given to him. It's here where Larxene actually indicates that Namine is actually Kairi's nobody. But screw that shit. Riku's gotta go to more worlds. Head to Atlantica, and no! No game, stop it! Riku was never in Atlantica, what are you doing? How could he have memories of places he's never been to? Breathe underwater, defeat the Heartless, fight Ursula, and guess what? Another organization cutscene. Lex and Zex discuss the departure of Vex at the hands of Axel. It's then they decide that if Sora is to be the pawn of Axel and Larxene, then they themselves need to champion Riku. Halloween Town, Heartless, Oogie Boogie. You get it. Get back to the castle where you're challenged by the castle's resident meathead, Lexius.
That scent. You're another one of those nobodies.
Cast away your useless fear. Open your heart. Embrace the darkness. Now, stop resisting.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more!
Being the jock of Organization 13, you can imagine that he's not the easiest to beat. The fight is strenuous, and takes a toll on the both of you. Of course, the toll it takes on Lexius is death.
Too slow.
But Riku doesn't have it too much easier as he falls back into the realm of darkness, where he runs across Ansem. And no, Riku, get yourself out of there. This is not a situation you want to find yourself in. That man is not the type of person you want to be alone in a dark room with, if his dialogue has been any indication. Luckily, Mickey comes in to save your ass, buddy system style. Elsewhere, Axel meets up with the lead singer of Hawthorne Heights.
I wonder who will be next in line. I thought perhaps it might be you. I already took my pounding from Sora.
Guys, again, you need to stop. Who wrote this dialogue for you? Did you pay them? Did you actually pay? Can you get your money back? I say this not in an insulting manner, but as a matter of fact. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories is the gayest game I have ever played. Finally, all those DeviantArt accounts and those fanfictions from fanfiction.net make sense.
One of the senses died. A really strong one.
The keeper of this castle, Marluxia, has just been felled by the Keyblade Master.
Zexion meets up with Riku and alerts him of the main story and Sora's presence. And, you know, to do a little trash talking before Riku tells him to fight him IRL. He tosses a card, and next thing you know, you're off to Destiny Islands, where lucky you finally find some company. But they immediately pull some Inception shit, and boom, that's it, they're gone. Walk around, fight some Heartless, until you stumble upon another familiar face. Kairi. But she quickly follows Waka, Selphie, and Titus's lead, and pulls a Harry Houdini of her own. You're left with your average MySpace kid circa 2006, Zexion, who claims that Riku was the one who caused the storm that destroyed the islands that night in the first game. Cheer up, emo kid, then summons Darkseid, which, to be fair, sounds like it could have been his MySpace name. I imagine he used a Y instead of an I, though, because he was so original. And after your standard boss battle with that thing, Riku meets up with Memory Sora. They reunite, share some words.
Oh! What? Riku, have you really become a creature of the dark?
And seriously, who wrote this game? Creature of the Dark? At what point did Riku become a fucking vampire? Why are there so many things in this game that don't feel like they belong in this game? Sora blinds you and you're brought to the realm of light. If you're confused, don't worry, confusion is roughly 85% of these games. It's within the realm of light that you finally talk to Kairi, and after a pep talk, Riku somehow comes to this conclusion.
Impossible!
That's right, that wasn't Memory Sora at all. It was Zexion in disguise.
Let's see if he's who we think he is.
Of course he was. You didn't see that plot twist coming? I just want to clarify this. We have heartless versions of characters. We have nobodies of characters. We have memory versions of characters, replicas, and now we have people who could just show up and perfectly disguise themselves as someone else. We're talking appearance, voice, everything. This seems needlessly complicated. I mean, how far are you going to go? Well, what's next? Are you going to make data versions of all the characters from Kingdom Hearts 1? And spoiler alert, yeah, they do that. They later do that, so... Can you not just make new characters instead of cloning them and calling it something else? Why do I love these games so much? The fuck is wrong with me? You battle with the dude from Metro Station, and wait, hold up. Was their goal not to send Riku further into darkness to meet their own needs? Why would you send him to the realm of light? Who are you led by? Who's this superior you keep talking about, Ansem? Because much like him looking to open the door to darkness by using the princesses of light, you're not thinking this one through. You deserve everything you get here. You are asking for this defeat. And also, Riku's supposed to get closer to the light. That's what Mickey's attempting to help him with here. That's the story we're following, and yet, for a second time now, has chosen darkness, but now it's supposed to be positive? Why? I think what they're trying to set up here is that because he's grounded in light, he's able to use darkness to his own advantage. And now he's too smart or some shit to lose himself to darkness again? Or maybe I'm just trying to make this game make sense? Maybe that's me? Zex returns to the castle. Basement, I guess. I guess that's where all this is taking place because it's not one of the floors, so... He meets up with Axel, who convinces R-Squared, who has now been made re-aware of his fake conditioning, to take out an injured Zexion, to harness his power. Which you can do in this game now, I guess. Axel tells the replica that with the same power of Riku, he'd be an upgraded model. The real Riku heads up another floor in the castle before being forced into a T-pose.
The deeper the darkness runs inside you, the stronger I become. Controlling you is effortless.
I'm done. I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I can't. You know what? I have no more words for this dialogue. You've done it so much that it just stopped being funny for me now. Now it just seems intentional, and I don't care for that. I do not care for it.
Must you interfere again?
After being troubled by your former mentor, you're greeted by your best friend in the light. And it's who else but... M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E,
Whoa! That tickles!
Why?
I needed a way out of the realm of darkness. And then suddenly this card appeared right in front of me.
Riku takes it using it as the next floor world. And when he enters, he's almost immediately greeted by none other than Ansem. Or is it?
You're not the true Ansem.
And you don't know how both true and false that one sentence is. Just wait. Just wait. We're gonna get real confused, all of us.
Your scent is different.
Again with sense. Why is everyone smelling everyone here? Did the cast suddenly become part hound? Was someone bitten by a werewolf? I mean, Riku turned into a vampire apparently earlier. I mean, I've missed so much, and I've been here the whole time. Apparently, Riku's getting real good at spot the fake, because shithead Holmes over here deducts that isn't Ansem. It's a man in red bandages. Great! More disguises! Yes, apparently this mysterious man, looking like a rejected background Star Wars character and sounding like a discount Christopher Lee, was pretending to be Ansem so that he could guide Riku through the castle and help him face his inner demons. Of course. He is Diz, stylized like Diz. Because in Kingdom Hearts, even the characters' names have to be complicated.
You exist between light and dark. You stand in the twilight.
Diz tells Riku that he must choose once he meets Namine. And after his disappearance, your time is short in this world. Well, that wasn't supposed to sound poetic when I first wrote it. Riku goes through town, defeats Heartless, and is confronted by his doppelganger, where his lookalike has a midlife crisis and a mental breakdown. all in a matter of moments.
I'm you. No, I'm me. I'm me, he says. That's right. I'm a phony. A fake. I thought by finding some new strength, I could finally be someone. Someone who's not at all you.
And in the process of all this, he tries to kill his predecessor.
As long as you're around, I'll never be more than a shadow!
You duke it out before things come to an end, and original Riku is deemed the winner, destroying the replica in the process.
Death doesn't frighten me. Good riddance to a phony life. My heart was never real, I'm sure. Even what I'm feeling now is probably all fake.
I just have one question, feel free to answer if you can, guys. What is wrong with y'all? You can't do that. You can't do this in what was originally a Game Boy Advance game. No, I'm putting my foot down here. You cannot do that. You just gave me a game with, for the most part, no story or dialogue in the worlds that I've traveled to, killing Heartless for the sake of killing Heartless, and now you're posing these Socrates type of questions?
What happens when a fake dies? One like me. Where will my heart go? Maybe to the same place as mine, a faithful replica, until the very end.
You're twisted, alright? I wasn't ready for this. I was not ready to care for what amounts to nothing more than a throwaway clone of one of the main characters. How dare you? And in a second-rate side story on top of that. What's wrong? You couldn't get the rights to Bambi to shoot his mother in the head in front of us? Let us all relive that moment again in 3D this time, you animals! Well, after R-Squared dies, Riku knows it's time to get the hell up out of there because he doesn't want to have to deal with the memory police. Because sometimes it's memories that hurt the most. He heads out of Twilight Town to the next floor in the castle where he finally meets Namine, who shows him a sleeping Sora in the pods from This Is Spinal Tap. Namine explains the main plot to Riku in the form of a fade, which is good because this game was only going through everything the last game was going through, and then that game was only going through most of what I went through in the first game, so I just really didn't need to be alerted of all of that again. Namine explains that Riku has a choice to make. While his memories haven't been tampered with, which is confusing, because how is it that Sora walks floor to floor and loses a memory each floor, but Riku can just walk up them flawlessly? I digress. Anyway, Riku needs to choose between staying as is or hopping in a pod himself. Like Sora, he'd need to forget his memories of this castle, but not for the benefit of his memory, more so his mental being, because he's rooted himself further in darkness, meaning he'd want to get in the pod to restore him to how he was before he entered the castle.
Whatever we'd be doing together, he'd find a way to slack off, even trying to leave the islands. I did all the work on the raft by myself.
Riku, bud, look, you're my favorite character in this and all, but let's be fair, let's be honest with each other. You were also the one who was stupid enough to think that a raft was enough to get you from world to world. And you're also the one who tried to kill your best friend both before and after getting possessed by a weird Billy Zane-like entity.
When this slacker wakes up, I'll tell him off. But I can't chew him out like he deserves, if I've been asleep.
Riku, on his Robert Frost flow, takes the road less traveled and decides to not get in the sleeping pod, and instead to fight his demons on his own. And then more creepy dialogue ensues.
You and Kairi smell the same.
Stop sniffing after her. Literally. After telling Namine to look after Sleeping Beauty, he leaves and heads to the next floor in the castle, where he finds Mickey Mouse and the Band-Aid covered Diz.
Do you know him?
Well, I'm not sure. Got a feeling that I've met him somewhere.
The two get into a very cryptic back and forth that later games will mostly answer.
You think I'm reckless?
You have chosen your own path.
Diz gives Riku an organization hoodie, because apparently that's all he'll need to disguise himself from then on. Despite the fact that everyone here is a wolfkin with a keen sense of smell. Riku heads to meet the final boss, and it's a battle he decides to fight alone. He asks that if he loses the battle, that his newfound friend Mickey destroy him, a request he denies. You fight through a couple rooms of Heartless before you meet the big bad of Kingdom Hearts 1. Not Billy Zane tries to persuade Riku into joining him so that they could rule the universe as father and son.
Why do you accept the darkness, but still refuse me?
Riku declines the offer, and the two do, well, what else, fight in a small select platform. And it's grueling. Luckily, unlike in Chain of Memories, it's more acceptable to button mash with Riku, and I'll be honest, that did help me get through some of this. Also, unlike in Kingdom Hearts 1, you only have to defeat him once. Thank God. After your initial battle with Ansem, you take him out for good. Or so you thought. In his final moments, he informs Riku that he's given all of his darkness to him. And someday, it will consume him to the point of Riku becoming nothing more than a mere vessel for him. Again, Ansem implodes into a ball of dark energy, taking Riku with him to the realm of darkness. Mickey once again saves your ass, and the two head for the exit, with Riku determining that he can't go home just yet. Mickey exclaims that while Riku may have had darkness in him, there's also light, and they meet in a very unique way. And don't try to sound smart, Mickey! You're clearly paraphrasing off what Diz said earlier.
Your Majesty, I'm really flattered. I don't know what to say.
Gosh, Riku, you know you don't have to call me that now. We're pals.
You know, this would be a really heartwarming moment, but seeing royalty speak to a teenager like that just makes me think this scenario is going to end like this.
Okay, bye.
Oh, no, stay. Go with the flow.
And speaking of Diz...
I'm taking the middle road.
Do you mean the Twilight Road to Nightfall?
No, it's the road to dawn.
And that's it. Roll credits. Wow, that was pretty lame, actually. The game itself is almost not worth playing. I know it's a reward, so obviously it's going to be a shorter story, but for the most part, it lacks story up until the end there. I mean, sure, it's interesting to see what Riku did during the main game, but I don't know. Maybe it would have been better if they just included it in the actual game. You know, set up gameplay where you play as Sora, then Riku, maybe go back and forth. I mean, there are some scenes here that are impactful, and add a bit more to the overall story and the lore of Kingdom Hearts in general. But they're far and few in between. I'm personally glad I sat through this, but I don't think I would ever do it again. Also, during the credits, we're given a scene which looks like Riku's deserting King Mickey, which is a pretty strange thing to show after they just solidified their bond. God, this is Ted 2 all over again. And we also get shots of this kid, who will become important later on, but is a total stranger to all of us right now. Not to Axel, apparently. And that is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories Reverse Rebirth. So with that being said, I'm the Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and if you like the words that came out of my mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this video came from. Follow me on Twitter because, hell, why not? It's not considered stalking if it's on the internet, am I right? And don't forget to join the Discord. I don't have anything catchy to add to that, but just join it. Just go do it. And if you have a free moment of time and a free $1 to spare, then head over to my Patreon, where for just $1, you too could help keep this boat afloat. And if you don't have that $1, but you do have a free moment of time, then hit the share button. It will help me out tremendously.
VTards, oh.